What's good, people? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, please do subscribe down below, smash a like, hit the bell, and all that good stuff, man, because today we got a banging episode for you guys. It's all about growing big fat flowers, nice buds in living soil. Now, we all know growing big buds in living soil can be a rewarding and organic way to cultivate our favorite plant or many other plants. Living soil is a soil ecosystem that contains a diverse array of microorganisms and other organic matter, which actually promotes natural nutrient cycling and healthy plant growth. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you guys 10 tips that can help you achieve larger flowers in your living soil setups. Personally, I'm growing in some cocoa right now, but I absolutely love living soil. It's my preferred way to grow, and right after this run, I'm going straight back to the living soil. Now, before we get into that, I just want to shout out the iCanFAM supporting on Patreon. The iCan VIP Bean Club is popping. We got some new fire genetics, 3 new fire strains, and we're sending them out to all VIPs. Perfect. If you want some of that fire, definitely join up with the iCan VIP Bean Club. The link is in the description down below. And speaking of beans and new genetics, Qualchirp seed starter kits are a great way to start off your seeds right. Definitely check them out. Discount code icanthc works on everything. And if you're one of those few people who don't like dope ass fire genetics, then you can cop some new iCanFAM merch on the Diesel Dog website. We work on all the Diesel Dog designs in-house, and it's a great way to support the channel just by copping a t-shirt or a hoodie. Thanks to everyone for the support, man. iCan is not monetized, so your support, even the smallest of support, goes a long way. So thank you guys so much. Now let's get into growing big buds in living soil. Yes, guys, so I've made a list of 10 things that you guys need to pay attention to if you want some massive flowers in living soil. Now, this is not meant to be an exhaustive, fully detailed list, but it's meant to give you guys pointers in the right direction so you guys can level up your grow and increase your yields and maximize the quality of your final product. Now, let's start with number 1. Living soil needs, well, a quality living soil, so you gotta start with a quality living soil. It'll definitely be worth your while to find some high quality living soil or just create your own by combining organic compost, worm castings, cocoa coir, and other natural organic amendments. You want to make sure that the soil is well aerated and has good drainage. You can use perlite and pumice for drainage and aeration, and there are lots of organic inputs that you guys can use when it comes to actually making a nice batch of living soil. I find that cocoa coir is a great addition to your living soil setups, and the roots are really able to grow through it. The root balls that you see in some of these cocoa mediums are just off the chain. Now, number 2, choose the right strain, guys. Different strains have different growing properties. Choose a strain that's known for some good bud size, like the Girl Scout cookies, Bruce Banner. All those strains are known for their massive nugs. Some strains are actually bred for specific characteristics like size, yield potential, trichome build, and all sorts of stuff. So naturally, some strains will produce bigger flowers than others. So if you got a strain that naturally produces smaller flowers, you can't expect massive flowers from that. Now, number 3, guys, is proper lighting. Lighting is super important. It's one of the biggest factors when it comes to any grow setup. You want to make sure that your plants receive the right amount of light throughout their entire grow cycle. During different stages of the grow cycle, the light that they require changes. Clones or seedlings, you can get away with 18 hours to 24 hours of light, no problem at all. But as you get into the flower stage, you want to reduce the amount of light they get to around 12 hours of light a day, and that actually triggers the flowering process. Now, there are all sorts of different light fixtures that you guys can get out there. The high intensity grow lights like HPS, high pressure sodium. There's also CMH, ceramic metal halide, and there's the super popular LED option as well. A lot of people use LED lights, and that's probably the most common thing that you guys will see in anyone's grow room. LEDs provide less heat, they are full spectrum, and while they are advocates for HPS and CMH lights, I've had no problems with the LEDs, and LEDs work great during summertime. Some people use HPS and CMH during the wintertime. Those HPS and CMH lights can produce a lot more heat than the LEDs. Now, when we're talking about lights, there are a lot of companies out there doing some great stuff, and one of those is Moss Hydro. Moss Hydro's got some banging lights, tents, carbon filters, exhaust systems, all sorts of stuff. They even got plant pots, drip irrigation systems, and UV and IR supplemental lighting as well. So if you guys are interested in UV or IR supplemental lighting, I did a whole video on that. Definitely check it out, but Moss Hydro's got some great stuff. And that said, Moss Hydro's celebrating their 14th anniversary, man. So you guys check out their website. They got some banging sales on there. Use the discount code icanthc and you can snag a double discount. Discount on top of sale items? Heck yeah, I'm there, man. Bring it on. So all that said, guys, lighting is very important and there are lots of options out there. So don't get got and just do a little bit of research so you can figure out what lighting option is best for your grow setup, especially based on your environment. You got a hot environment, cold environment, high humidity, low humidity, all these things come into play. Now, number 4, guys, is adequate nutrients. Nutrients is super super important. Now, while living soil provides many nutrients, I know people in the comments talking about, you don't need to feed in living soil, the soil does all the feeding. Now, that is true, guys. Living soil does a lot of the feeding, so a lot of times you can get away with watering. The organic nutrients will break down and be uptaken by the plant. But our favorite medicinal plants do have high nutrient requirements, especially during the flowering phase. So a lot of the times it's a good idea to supplement your living soil with organic bloom fertilizers or even compost teas, which are rich in phosphorus and potassium, and those things can really help support your bud development and get some nice fat flowers during the flower phase. Perfect. Now, while some people think it's either organic or synthetic, there's a massive school of thought that actually combines the two, and we call it synganics. Personally, I have no problems running synganics. Synganics is actually a great way to get the best of both worlds, and if your plant needs a quick nutrient boost and all you got is synthetic fertilizers around, it's definitely better to use it than to not use it and watch your plant suffer with some nasty deficiencies. After all, a deficient or sick plant during flower is not the answer, Shui. It's definitely not the answer, Shui. Now, when it comes to organic inputs and nutrients and feedings, what do you guys do? Do you guys run organic, synthetics? Do you guys mix them and run the synganic approach? Drop it in the comments down below and let me know what's your favorite type of fertilizer to use. A lot of people love worm castings, black guano, alfalfa meal, bone meal, blood meal. There's so many options. Let me know what you guys like. Now, number 5, guys, you guys need to do the pruning and training. Those things are super important. You got to prune your plants. Everyone knows about training. You got to low stress train your plants, high stress train, topping, filming, all those stuff. That increases your yields tenfold. The more tops your plant got, the more bud size your plant got. That means the more buds you get. Perfect. But a lot of people overlook the pruning side of things. Pruning your plants selectively to allow better light penetration and airflow to the buds is a massive benefit, man. Huge plus. Then when you combine those things with techniques like topping, lollipopping, and defoliation, that can help to redistribute the energy to those main colas. And those fat nugs up top will get really nice and swollen. Now, I mentioned it earlier, guys, and a lot of people love organic systems because all you need to do is water. The organic inputs, the microbes, and the living soil do the rest. That means you gotta have a proper watering schedule. Overwatering can suffocate the plant's roots and hinder the nutrient uptake. So while you do have some nice organic inputs in there, overwatering your plants can actually cause the roots to not be able to access any of that. And that's not good, dude. That's a complete failure. So proper watering is absolutely key. A lot of people have been using automated watering systems, which takes the guesswork out of it. And for me, less is more. So find the right balance and make sure that your soil remains consistently moist, but not waterlogged. It's super important in living soil setups that the soil doesn't dry out too much, because those microbes in the soil can actually go dormant. And you really want them to stay alive, stay active, and just be working hard in the soil. Now, number 7, guys, humidity and temperature control is a massive part of anyone's growth setup. You gotta keep the temperature and the humidity levels in the optimal range for your plant's growth, especially during that flower stage. If in the flower stage you got spikes in temperature or RH, you can end up in serious problems. I'm talking bud rot, fungus, molds, increases in pathogens and pests, all sorts of stuff that you just don't want in the flower stage. Now, the ideal range can vary depending on the strain, but generally you want to have temperatures between around 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, around 20 to 26 degrees Celsius, and a relative humidity or RH of around between 40 to 50%. Sometimes you can go up to 60 if it's earlier on in the plant's life cycle. But later on, especially during flower, you don't want that RH to spike too much, because higher moisture in those fat flowers can equal bud rot and you'll lose your entire harvest. Now, number 8, guys, temperature and humidity ties directly into your environment. Provide a stable and favorable environment for your plants. Avoid extreme temperature fluctuations or exposure to pests and diseases. So if you're growing indoors in the summertime, you may want to throw on an AC unit just to avoid any spikes in temperatures. And if that RH increases during summertime, like what's happening to me right now, you may need to grab a dehumidifier, pop that in the grow room, and that way you can get that RH down. But environment always fluctuates and is constantly changing, so you need to be mindful of that. A little thermometer or hygrometer like this will help you dial in your RH and your temps, and it's really foolproof. So personally, I pop a few of these around the grow room at different points, and I'm always in check. And of course, there are things that you guys can use to manage your environment, like carbon filters, smart systems, AC units, dehumidifiers, humidifiers. There's all sorts of stuff. Now, number 9, which also goes hand in hand with your environment, is regular monitoring. So you guys need to monitor your plants. Whether you're looking in the grow tent or you're looking at your phone because you got a smart system, you gotta monitor your setup. Have a look at your plants regularly. Always be in there looking under the leaves, looking at the plants, looking at the buds, looking at the root systems. Sometimes I like to go down there and just have a look in the soil to see if there's anything looking off. But observe your plants regularly for any signs of nutrient deficiencies, pests, and diseases. Address any issues promptly. You want to do it quickly. If you leave it along, procrastinate and say, oh, I'm gonna deal with that fungus gnat issue tomorrow or the next day after that, that fungus gnat issue can turn into an infestation real quick. So always address any issues promptly frequently to make sure that your plants remain healthy and strong. And most importantly, guys, number 10, have patience. Big flowers, big buds, they take time to develop. Allow your plants to go through their full flowering cycle and avoid harvesting early. Harvesting early is perhaps the biggest reason why a lot of people get subpar flower, or their flower just does not reach the maximum potential. Personally, I've seen flowers fatten up a lot in the last couple of weeks before harvest, and a great way to tell when your plant is ready to harvest is use one of these USB microscopes. These work really great, cost about 20 bucks on Amazon, and you can get in there and really have a look at the trichomes to see exactly what's going on. And for me, I like a mix of about 70% cloudy, 30% amber, and that's when I know I'm getting close to harvest, so I can chop this baby down. Now, there are a lot of bro science myths when it comes to 48 hours before harvest, ice bath before harvest, all sorts of stuff. I actually broke down a lot of those myths on the channel, so check out those videos if you want to find out a little bit more about those myths and whether they actually work. I know I got my opinion on them, so check those videos out if you want to find out more. So those right there are the 10 biggest things that I think that you guys need to pay attention to when it comes to growing fat, nice flowers, especially in living soil setups. So drop it in the comments down below and let me know what you guys do. Do you guys like living soil, or is it just me? You guys like big buds, or is it just me? So smash the like button, guys, show some love, and don't forget, if you guys want some fire genetics, we got mailboxes burning down all over the country. And those 3 new strains we got in, toe jam, blueberry muffin, and peanut butter muffins, man, bangers. Perfect. So join up with the fam, support the channel, show some love, and don't forget, most importantly, stay high and stay fly, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Yeah.